Welcome to the session of Software Process Models. Learning outcome of this session. At the end of the session, students will be able to explain the software process, the waterfall model, the component-based software engineering model, and the incremental development model. These are the contents of the session. First, we will see the software process. Then we will see the three models of the software process. The first model is a waterfall model, then component based software engineering model, and then we will see the incremental development model. Software process. A software process is nothing but a group of related activities that leads to the development of the software. These activities may involve the production of the software from the scratch by using the language such as C, Java, C++, or modification of the existing software. Figure shows the block diagram of the software process. It starts with the software specification. The software specification is nothing but the analysis of the requirement given by the client about the software. On the basis of those requirements, a requirements document is prepared. Software design and implementation. Now at this stage, on the basis of requirement document, the software is designed and implemented. Software verification and validation. The developed software is verified and validated whether it meets the customer requirement or not. And the software evolution. The software evolution is a lifelong process. A software is modified for the correction of errors which are generated when the software is put in a practical use. So software specification, it defines the main functionalities of the software and the client requirement about the software. A software design and implementation. At this stage, the software is designed and programmed as per the analysis which was done at the software specification activity. Software verification and validation. In this activity, the developed software is verified and validated to confirm its specification meet the specification which is provided by the client. Software evolution. A software is updated to meet the client and the market requirement changes. Software process models. Basically, there are three software process models: the waterfall model, the component-based software engineering model, and the incremental development model. In a waterfall model, the development phases are linear and sequential, whereas in a component-based software engineering model, a system is developed from the reuse of the existing component. In the incremental development, a specification, development, and validation activities are interleaved with each other. Let us see the waterfall model. The waterfall model is nothing but a linear approach for development of the software product. Any phases in the software activity starts only if the previous phase has been completed. The phases do not overlap with each other, and the one phase is cascaded from the another phase. Hence it is called as a waterfall model. It is the best example of the plan driven process. It means that you must plan and schedule the all activities before working on those activities. This is a block diagram of the waterfall model. It consists of requirement definition, system and software design, implementation and unit testing, integration and unit testing, and operation and maintenance. Requirement definition defines the requirement of the user. System and software design, it develops the software. Implementation and unit testing, each subprogram is considered as a unit and it is implemented in a software. And integration, all these units are integrated together and the testing is done. And the operation and maintenance is a lifelong process which will modify the software, and on the basis of those modification, a software is updated. Requirement analysis and definition. All the possible requirements of the software which is given by the client, which is to be developed in the software, are studied in this phase. These requirements are documented to produce a requirements specification document. The system functionality which is to be implemented in the software are decided by the consultation with the system users. They are then studied in details and used as a system specification in a requirement specification document. The next stage is the system and software design. On the basis of requirements document, overall system architecture is designed. The requirement specification from the first activity are studied in this activity and the system design is created. This system design helps describing the hardware and the system requirement that will help for designing of the overall system. Implementation and unit testing. The system design is realized as a set of programs. In this activity, the system is first developed in the units, which are nothing but the small programs. These small programs are tested for its working, and verified each unit provides the specification which is provided by the customer. These units are then integrated into the next phase to create the whole system. Integration and system testing. All the implemented units are tested into the system after testing of each unit. After the integration, the complete system is tested to make sure that the software requirement which is given by the client has been successfully met. After the testing, the software system is delivered to the client. Operation and maintenance. Now this is a life cycle phase. The system is delivered to the client and operated for the practical use. Maintenance involves correcting the errors which occur during the practical use of the software. Improving the software and providing the regular updates of the software to the client is the main goal of this activity. The next model is the component-based software engineering model. The component-based software engineering model involves the reuse of existing software or the design of the production of the software. In many software projects, there are some software which can be reused. This happens every time informally when the developers working on the project know the design or the program which are similar to what is to be required. They look for this program, modify them as per the need and reuse them into the software. This is the block diagram of the software based engineering model. It starts with the requirement specification, then the next stage is the component analysis, then the requirements modification on the basis of component analysis, then the system design with the reused component, then the development and integration of those components, and then the system is validated for the practical use. First is the component analysis. On the basis of requirement specification, the components are searched and analyzed to implement the required specification software. Generally, the component does not match exactly the requirement specification, so the component may be used to satisfy some of the specifications which are required. Requirements modification. The requirements are studied using the information about the component which has been discovered and analyzed in component analysis stage. The requirements are modified to use the available component. If the modification in requirements are not possible, then the component analysis activity may be done again for the search of another solution. System design with the reuse. Now the structure of the system is designed or an existing structure can be reused. The designers consider the component that are reused and design structure as per the component. Some new softwares may have to design if the reusable components are not available. Development and integration. The software that cannot be externally obtained is developed and the components are integrated to create the new system. Generally, the system integration may be the part of the development activity rather than a separate activity. Incremental development. Incremental development model is based on the idea of developing the initial implement and exposing this to the user comment, involving it through the several versions until the adequate system has been developed. Specification, development and validation activities are interleaved rather than the separate activities. This is the block diagram of the incremental development model. First, the outline description of the software is done by discussion with the client, and then the software specifications are defined and then developed and validated. The software specification, development and validation, these activities are concurrent. It means whenever the client needs some changes, then these are made and then the initial version of the system is created. If there are some errors in the initial version, again the development phase is performed and then intermediate version is created. In this way, till the satisfaction of the client, the final version of the system is developed. So it is called as an incremental development model, in which the feedback from the customer is very important. On the basis of the feedback, the whole system is developed. So these are the exercise students are requested to solve this assignment. The first question is, explain the software process and list the software process models. Explain the waterfall model. Explain the integration development model. What are the disadvantages of the waterfall model? And explain the component based software engineering model. These are the references for the session. Thank you.